Welcome back to Britain Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Junious Smith. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, all things considered. How about you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you started as a sports reporter?
Sure. It's definitely been a crazy ride for me. It started in 2007 with the Fayetteville Observer. My hometown is Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I worked there from 2007 to 2015 part time. Wrote my first story out there in January of 2008 covering basketball, and then I moved to Kinston in 2013 to become a government writer because that was my first full time job. But for 2 years, I was actually going back and forth from from Kinston to Fayetteville in order to still be able to get my sports fix. I moved to Atlanta in 2015 for 3 months. Worked with the Associated Press. Came back, became the sports editor of the Kinston Free Press from 2015 to 2017. Then I had my own business for a little bit, the Flourish Post, for about 6 months. It was bought by Nuese News. I was working with Nuese News, and now since October, I'm I created my own organization with ENC Moments.
How did you know that you wanted to become a sports reporter?
Well, I had dreams and aspirations to make it to the NBA, but my junior year of high school, I was about 5'3", so I just had to go ahead and just kill that right there. However, I've always had a passion for writing, and there were times where I would play NBA Live or Madden, and the next day, if I got bored in class, I would just write like a fake story and kind of go under Associated Press guidelines, like I was an avid reader of the newspaper. So I would just kind of pick up tips from sports writers and just kind of create something on my own. So I've always had the passion, and thankfully it came to fruition.
Can you talk about your business, ENC Moments?
Definitely. So ENC Moments, it started off as a sports organization because for me the biggest thing was I wanted to document the great basketball here in Kinston and surrounding areas. Eastern North Carolina is certainly a hotbed for great basketball, and so what I did, I made sure that not only did I cover basketball, but all sports and basically 8 schools in a 4-county area. So my initial schools were Randall Parrott, Aiden Grifton, Bethel Christian, Jones Senior, Kinston, North and North, South and North, and Green Central. But as time passed, several other schools like Farmville Central, Washington, West Craven, I started getting a little bit, even went as far as on First Flight. But basically, it went from basketball to all sports to now even doing news.
Can you talk about your experience as you were working with the Nuese News?
It was interesting to say the least. With News News, initially I thought that I was just going to be the sports guy, but as time went on, they needed me for more than sports, and I felt like if there's a role that I can fulfill, then I'll do it, and yeah.
How was it covering for the Nuese News? Because I know that they're more of a video coverage than just the regular newspaper. How is that difference?
I think the biggest difference is, I guess I'm more old school when it comes to coverage. My biggest focus has always been on making sure that I have my stats right and making sure that I was able to get a story out instead of just putting a camera out and just doing it in that method. So it was an adjustment. It helped me become a better reporter in a sense. It was more of a challenge because I felt like my writing kind of slipped a bit over there. However, I was able to get some all right videos as well.
Can you talk about your experience going to the NBA draft in 2016 when Brandon Ingram got drafted?
That was one of the most fun times I've ever had as a writer. The backstory behind it, myself and a great photographer, Zach Fraley, we were with the Free Press at the time, and we were able to drive from Kinston, North Carolina to New York City. I remember I parked my car and didn't move it for the next 4 days until we actually left New York City. But it was just beautiful, just being able to be out there, being from such a small town and such a small paper, and still being able to talk to people from ESPN and Sports Illustrated and other major publications across the country, and then even being able to interview some of the players like Brandon Ingram and Ben Simmons, Buddy Hield, Chris Dunn, Jacob Portal. Like it was just a phenomenal time.
Can you tell me how, if a person wants to do something like that, how they would go about doing it?
To be honest, for me, it was a combination of perseverance, work ethic, and some luck. Because what's funny is, and not a lot of people know this, but the way that I was able to actually get involved with the Fayetteville Observer, I got fired from a job as a busboy and a dishwasher back home. And my mom had contacted me and said, "Well, why don't you work for the Fayetteville Observer? I mean, you wrote a couple of stories for your high school newspaper." And I was thinking to myself, "There's no way they're gonna hire me." But I sent the application. 4 months later, they said, "Well, wait till football season." So 4 months went by. I was still trying to find a job, couldn't find one. And in August, they said, "Hey, come on board." So I started, making box scores. And then a month later, they promoted me to the Agate page, basically just putting in all the stats and the schedules. And then a few months later, I wrote my first article and never looked back. So I think, like, if there's any advice that I would give anybody, it would just be, grind and continue working hard, because when it may take some time for the opportunity to come in. It may be a sudden thing, but whatever the case, when the opportunity presents itself, get out there and make it worthwhile.
Who are some of the famous athletes that you've covered, that you've interviewed?
Let's see, Brandon Ingram would definitely be one of them. And then, you got to throw Reggie Bullock into the mix as far as Kinston is concerned. I had the opportunity to be in the Lakers locker room when they came to play the Hornets, so I had the chance to talk to one of the best interviews of all time with Metta World Peace, formerly known as Ron Artest.
Can you talk about your experience covering the Hornets versus Lakers game?
That was absolutely hilarious. I mean, first off, I didn't besides covering the Lakers, I've had the opportunity to cover the Pistons when they came to Charlotte, and the Raptors because of Jerry Stackhouse. So that's another great athlete to throw up there. But being inside the locker room and just checking out all the funny characters, like D'Angelo Russell was on the Lakers that season, Lou Williams, and then of course Swaggy P, aka Nick Young. But it was definitely an experience just listening to the vets and also some of the young guys.
How would a young sports reporter go about making it to the NBA level, or even the professional level?
Well, again, like I said, it's just all about work and just finding that opportunity. Because for me, I was blessed that there are some great athletes here in Kinston. The fact that Reggie Bullock and Brandon Ingram go from Kinston to making it to the NBA, that was really my ability to cover both the NBA draft and also some games. So when I was able to take those trips to Charlotte, it was no hesitation. I put in a request from the Charlotte Hornets, just trying to see if I could talk to their PR people and director of communications to see if I could actually cover the game. They accepted the credential, and away I went.
Can you tell us where you can find you on social media?
Oh, without question. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, and Instagram. For all of that, just Junious, Junious Smith, and then I. So that's basically it.
Thank you again, Junious, for your interview.
No problem. Thanks for interviewing me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find us at YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Junious, for your interview.
No problem. Thank you.